A lot of old Tottenham managers, your predecessors, would talk about having to do things differently from their rivals in terms of the transfer market, and said that the club would never spend 100 million. Pochettino used to talk about how they had to operate differently from their rivals. Do you now believe that Tottenham are able to operate at the same level as their rivals, and do you feel fortunate that you're the manager who was here to benefit?
Yes, I am very happy, and I think I can't speak about the other coaches. I just can say in my experience is they kept the word, they kept what they said before I came in March, the end of March, in the middle of March, and I'm very happy. But what we are doing now for the coach, for the club, for the fans, for the history of the club, for the pride of the club, and for the level of the club. I think this moment is crucial for this club, because after 2 seasons like we did, we have to change the mood, completely change it, give una scossa,
boost.
and then I think when we have finished in this transfer market, for a long time we don't need many things, and we can work all together in the right condition, in the right direction, to build step by step something special, or any way to go to compete for the top of the table. Not maybe now, or maybe yes, I don't know. But we have the squad enough to play in every stadium in the right way, face to face. We know we have to improve, we have to become team, but I think also we have all qualities to do that.
Tom.
Roberto, obviously last season was a bit of a special situation, rescue mission which you pulled off. How much do you feel this year is going to be the real Roberto De Zerbi?
Yeah, last season was maybe the best moment in football for me, especially in the last game. No, I was very, very happy, very, very proud. But we have to go forward. We have to move on and to stay focused on this week, because sport or football every day is a different challenge. You can't keep with you the memories. The memories are good, are nice at the end of your career, when you stop yourself and you look what you have done. But now we have to push. We have a big challenge to scalare un po' la classifica.
To grow up in the table.
And you mentioned the size of your squad and having players who can play in different areas, but particularly in central midfield, you've got a lot of players for just 2 positions, a wing and 10. How are you, in a season where you've got no Europe, how are you going to keep all these players happy?
Nothing. I love speaking clearly. Today is the 21st of August. I think every one of them, the players, they already know the squad. If someone of them they don't want to accept the competition inside of the pitch, inside of the dressing room, they can leave. But I try to be honest and to and to decide the better decision I can on the pitch to find the best first 11. But the players have to accept. Why? Because if we want to become better, if we want to compete for the top of the table, 11 players are not enough. 15 players are not enough. And if you analyze the teams, Liverpool 2 years ago, Arsenal, Chelsea, or Manchester City, or Bayern Munich, Barcelona, Real Madrid, the top, Juventus, Milan, the squad, there is a big competition inside of the dressing room.
And just lastly, you're obviously strengthening your defence, your midfield, your attack. How much more do you want to strengthen that? Is it significantly? Do you feel like you've got enough goals in this team? And will Mikey Moore be going out on loan next week?
Quanto vuoi rafforzare l'attacco dopo che hai già rafforzato difesa e centrocampo in modo di dare più gol, perché Mikey Moore potrebbe andare.
But now is not the right moment to speak about the last 10 days of transfer market. I think it's not finished yet, I said. I'm very happy with Mikey Moore. He's working well. He's a good player. I don't know if he goes or not on loan. I think he's a big potential for the club. And we try to find the best solution for every player we have. Also for Luca Barnett or Malachi are two potential big players. Proud that they come from our academy and they have to manage them like the best we can, in the best way we can.
David.
Grazie.
Your marquee signing is Sandro Tonali, because you spent £100 million for him. When you spoke to him in Brescia, I guess you presented him your idea. In these first weeks of the season, what have you seen from him, and what do you think he can do in your time?
Sandro Tonali is better than I thought before to work with him. As a player and as a guy. I know his family, his agents, and I know they are all good people. I'm very happy working with him, and I think he's the right player in the right place, especially because we want to put him inside of the project. He has the right qualities, the right personalities, the right value to stay in this place.
You start the season tomorrow. How close this team is to the idea of a Tottenham successful team?
On the paper, it's very close. On the pitch, we have to see and we have to work. I have already experienced enough to don't say too much. Why? Because I'm very happy for the squad. Okay, we have to finish and to complete the squad, but in this moment I'm very happy. But at the end, the answer you can receive from the pitch have to be like my dreams, my thoughts with sport director, with CEO, and with the board.
Ma
Yeah.
When do you think you will know if this team you have now today? When will you know if it is good enough to compete for the top 5 or the top 10? Where?
quando pensi che questa squadra potrà essere pronta per competere?
I don't know. Maybe now. Maybe I don't know. You have to see on the pitch. To be honest, everyone, we are very excited, but at the end is always the pitch. In Italian language, we say that the pitch speaks. No? Il campo parla. ed è così. Because if now we start with i proclami,
With big words. Yeah.
it's not right. I think I love working with the pressure. It's not a problem of pressure, but anyway, to be honest and correct, we have to work and we have to have the answer from the pitch.
Do you expect
Because football is a connection. Football is like a magic thing. No, you can find sometimes la magia in campo, no? The connection between the players. The idea of football, every player think like the coach, or anyway we go together forward for an idea of football. The player, when they don't start in the first 11, they push and they are the first fan of the player who are playing. We have to we have to create something special on the pitch and something special outside of the pitch to compete, like you said, like I want.
Can I ask one little one about Bergvall and Sarr? I think they are here for I think they are with you now, or you expect them to go?
Bergvall e Sarr sono con te.
Yes, Bergvall, 100%. We spoke a lot in pre-season. He's top player, he's top potential player, and I would like he stays here, but I think now he wants to stay, and we have no problem. For Pape started the pre-season late because he stayed in Senegal, I think, until the first week, the first days in August. He's a good player. I don't know if he stays or not. We have to see. We have to analyze the situation. But he's another very important player.
John.
Roberto, I think you said this week that your ultimate aim was to reach the very top. That's what you always aim for. Do you see, and you said you wanted to be guarded here, but do you see potential within the squad to challenge for the biggest prizes, including title?
Vedi la potenzialità di questa squadra per arrivare lassù.
Yes, big potential. And at the end of the transfer market, I will be more accurate in my opinion.
Have you noticed a change? You talked about kind of changing attitude, changing atmosphere. Have you noticed that change already because of the players that you brought in? I don't know, a feeling of more strength, of optimism within the squad, within the group.
Hai già visto un cambio di atteggiamento anche per i giocatori che sono arrivati, hanno portato forza magari nel gruppo, hai già visto punti determinanti dire.
Yes, and for that, I have to keep the balance, because sometimes transfer market, Tonali, JP Van Eyck, we go, and then no. If we have to push, I will be the first to push to fix the target higher we can, no, highest we can. But now is not the right moment. Now is the moment to think to Brentford, to complete the transfer market, and then to make the point and to find and follow the two targets I said: soul and style of play, and level of play, and quality of play. And then we can fix what goals, what target you want, without arrogance, but also without too much but anyway with big ambitions, no? Because we are working in Tottenham, not in another small team.
Okay, we're running out of time, so we'll go George and then finish with Tom, please.
I think last week it was you hired a lot of former Tottenham players, legends of the club, in for a meal. Is that kind of part of why you did that? Did you want their kind of, that they represent the soul of Tottenham, and you want them to get that into the first?
Yes, yes, it's for that. Because I think the players, especially the foreign players, they have to understand the level of this club. No, even they finish 2 seasons in a row in the 17th position, nothing changed. The level of the club can't change because in the last 2 seasons was not great. And the legends, I think they can explain better than me or better than you as a journalist what Tottenham has been in Premier League and in Europe.
How was it for you talking to some of those guys, Ben Waddle?
Yes, I'm sorry because I didn't see Chris Waddle, because Chris Waddle was my favorite player, one of my favorite players when I was kid, and he played in Marseille. In Marseille I said like the same, like this, and Waddle was good for Kudus, for Kulusevski, for Xavi, same for Matisse, because was a great player.
Tom, to finish, please.
You say you've heard a lot about Tottenham spending. I wonder, why do you think there's so much more noise about Tottenham when they're signing big players for big money than all the other big clubs?
Come mai pensi che ci sia così tanto rumore quando il Tottenham spende così tanto?
I don't know, you have to explain me. I don't know, I don't know, but for me no pressure and it's not a problem. I don't know why the people don't love if Tottenham becomes better, no? Is a one motivation more, no, for us.
I was going to say, do you quite like it?
Last season, all other clubs, all other teams, they wanted to kill us, no? And is another part of football, no?
Right.
You told your players to remember that what happened last season when the other teams wanted to.
Every week. Every week we have to remember last season.
Okay.
Last friendly game against Hoffenheim was the last time was with Everton, against Everton. You can imagine the differences between the game with Everton and the friendly game after we stay up as a pressure, as a day, no?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mister, ti è caduta?
Yeah. Good luck.